Well, guys, we're approaching 13 years since George Lucas sold Lucasfilm to Disney. And I believe it's one of the biggest mistakes that George Lucas has made in his career. He's a legend, and I believe he actually knows that it was a mistake to sell to Disney. But before he sold to Disney, George Lucas actually had a plan for a TV series that was going to be about the underworld of Coruscant. And he was going to take Star Wars into a darker direction. Now, based on the way Revenge of the Sith went, and that was definitely the darkest Star Wars movie that we've had. Anakin was killing younglings. Of course, he got burnt. I mean, it was pretty dark, and I love Revenge of the Sith. But Lucas was ready to go into a different direction with Star Wars, but he sold the company to Disney. And Rick McCallum, who actually produced the prequels with George Lucas, he actually had an interview confirming this. They had 60 scripts written for this. George Lucas was prepared for this. That's a lot of scripts. But you want to know the shocking part?
What?
Guess how much each episode would have cost?
How much?
$40 million an episode. We're talking about, I believe this is probably like, 2010 or so? This is like 2 years probably before he sold. This is pretty wild right here. You want to listen to a little bit of this?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, here we go.
The Star Wars show, the scripts are going to be old. If you ever make it, the scripts are going to be years old. Are they timeless? Or?
They're timeless because they take place between episode 3 and episode 4, that 20-year period when Luke is growing up. Okay. It's not about Luke, but it's about that period of when, the Empire is really trying to take the thing. And it's called Underworld. So it's the world.
It's called Underworld?
Well, that's a working title.
Okay.
But basically, it's underneath what's going on. Okay. And it's the criminals and the guys, the gangs that are, running, like Wall Street, basically running the United States.
Bernie Mac.
Exactly.
Okay, so you're not worried.
No,
being
not any
as
level.
cost effective as you guys are in your process, the scripts are done.
Yeah, there's no way. I mean, they'll only get better, the scripts, and but no, it's really a budget thing. How do we get it down to a cost that is commensurate with the reality? Because even most people don't realize that the prequels only cost $100 million each. In the world of Hollywood, that is nothing. And that's why we were so able to do something for 2/3 less than what the average studio would do it for, and why we're successful. But this is really tough because we're trying to do in 1 hour the same amount of effects and technology that a 2-hour film has to do. We have to do it every week.
Yeah,
that's
right.
tough.
Yeah,
and try and do it for $5 million.
Sure.
But we'll get there.
I hope so.
I hope I live long enough.
I believe this is probably an interview before Lucas sold. That's Rick McCallum right there. So I don't believe this is the recent clip, but in the gist of it, this is it right here. This is it right here. So that was the wrong clip.
Scripts, third draft scripts. Again, the most wonderful writers in the world on it. And again, we created exactly the same experience for everybody at the ranch. And again, just phenomenal group of talent. And these were dark. These were not, they were sexy, they were violent, they were just absolutely wonderful, complicated, challenging. I mean, it would have blown up the whole Star Wars universe. And Disney definitely would have never offered George to buy that. But no, it's one of the great disappointments of our life. But the problem was, each episode was bigger than the films. So the lowest I could get it down to, with the technology that existed then, was about $40 million an episode.
That's crazy. $40 million. He said that Disney would have never bought Lucasfilm if George Lucas made this.
Well, I would say if Disney bought the script,
they probably would have thrown it out like they did with George Lucas' sequel treatments.
Well, if they don't throw it out, it will be good for everyone.
Yeah, I mean 60 episodes. Let's just say, I don't know how many. A lot of these shows now are like what 10 episodes. So basically, he almost had like 6 seasons.
Okay,
of
but
episodes.
look at this, where everybody knows that Josh Lucas is really good, creative.
Yes.
And personally, if Disney bought the script and have their show Underworld, we would see it. And if there's a lot of fans who love it, I mean the budget, it costs a lot, but if the fan loves it and it blow up, I mean, it will have more profit than
Right.
ever.
I do understand that, but the thing is, though, I got to understand where George Lucas is coming from. When he sold Lucasfilm, he was 68 or 69 years old, somewhere around there. And he was doing this, and he wanted to make episode 7, 8, and 9. That's a lot of work to do in your 70s. So I understand why he let it go. And he said that he was married to his wife. They were having a kid, so he wanted to be there for his kid. He wouldn't have been able to be there for his kid if he was doing all this. This is actually some of the test footage here. You said you never saw this, right?
No.
This is some of the test footage here of Underworld. This looks pretty good. I saw this like a couple of years ago. We're not going to watch it all. Kind of looks like Tron. I don't think there's any lines in it or anything. Now that's definitely Star Wars right here.
Surveillance droid reports rebel activity in the area. You two move along. This area is threat level orange. Move along.
Look how good it looks. It looks like Star Wars. It feels like Star Wars. So that's just a little bit right there. Unfortunate that we never got this. We're never going to get it. Man, I wish George never sold.
I don't mind that he sold if he has a good reason to sell his company.
He did have a good reason to sell.
Yes, the problem is Disney.
Yeah, and I don't think he was anticipating Disney being this bad.
Yeah,
So
Disney pretty much backstabbed him.
yeah, they backstabbed him big time. But one of the reasons I found out why he actually sold to Disney, Bob Iger. Well, George Lucas actually had the Young Indiana Jones series. It bombed. And he went to Bob Iger. And Bob Iger pressured, I believe it was on ABC, if I'm not mistaken. ABC is part of Disney and everything. And Bob Iger got season 2 greenlit. And George never forgot that. So that's probably one of the reasons why George Lucas sold to Bob Iger. Because Bob Iger saved Young Indiana Jones for him. I never seen Young Indiana Jones either.
I never seen it.
Me neither. So there you have it, man. Underworld, Star Wars Underworld. Man, that would have been so good. I think it would have been really, really good.
Yeah, it does feel like Star Wars instead of, making the Disney Obi-Wan or...
We could have got this, and they gave us The Acolyte. They gave us Book of Boba Fett. They gave us The Mandalorian Season 3. Wow.
Yeah, if Disney just follow what Josh Lucas, said and just bought the script and just put it out, Disney will still have a lot of Star Wars fan.
Yeah, but they didn't listen to George. That's the problem.
That's why.
It would have took more than them just using the script. They would have needed George involved
Yes.
to guide them, but
Yes.
they didn't want to do it. So there you have it, guys. We're going to leave it right there. We'll be back tomorrow on another video. Until then, be safe.
Goodbye.